Shield. Don't you think it's time to do the 7 best teams in each conference? Don't you think it's time for that now? Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Well, welcome back, VIP. I hope Thanksgiving was wonderful for you. Cole Johnson's on the mic on the Daily Sun Tab, presented by Cole Sports. This is the show that comes to you every Monday through Friday. And subscribe if you want to be that man or woman who just simply is all about that knowledge at trivia games and all things sports, of course. Well, you already know it's Friday. Don't really have to go any further into detail. You know how we get down on Friday. And we're going to get down in Friday the same way as we always do. Email the NFL. CC the Shield owners. Subject of email: the 7 best, regardless of division. Body of email: all right, here's how it goes. We have a division now in the National Football League's National Football Conference Eastern Division, which is absolutely horrendous. In coming into the Sunday before Thanksgiving, you had 2 teams with 3 wins and 2 teams with 2. I still can't believe I said that out loud. Before November the 22nd, we had 2 teams with 3 wins each, and we had 2 teams with 2 wins each. What would that be? I'm having a hard time. I have a hard time. Oh, here we go. All right, if you were to add all of that up, that's what, 10? You have the Steelers, who had 9 all by themselves. So that should tell you how horrible the NFC East is. And what's the most horrible aspect of all this? There's going to be one of these teams which not only will win their division, but they will advance to the playoffs and host a wild card round game. No! There is going to be one of these teams that's going to win their division and host a wild card game.
You for real?
There's going to be one of these teams that's going to host a wild card game because they won their putrid division.
You've got to be joking me.
There's going to be one team that's going to come out of the NFC East, the divisional champ, and host a playoff game.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
I couldn't agree with you more, Inspector Todd, and here's why. You have a division where there isn't a team that is doing average. There isn't a team that's doing average in the division. Yet you're going to have teams like the Cardinals. No, I don't even go there yet. You have teams like the Bears and the Vikings, who they aren't setting the world on fire, but they're at least doing better than all 4 of those teams in NFC East. But they're going to be well out of the playoffs because they're not even close to the divisional leader in the Packers. And the wild cards, well, I mean, it looks like it's going to be between the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Rams, and any combination of those 4 teams. 3 of them are going to come out as having a playoff spot in the wild card. So you're going to have the Bears, the Vikings, any of those other teams that fall short along with them miss the playoffs, but you're going to have the Eagles or the Giants or the Cowboys or the Washington NFL franchise be one of the NFC playoff representatives.
You for real?
Yes, Teddy, I am for real. I am for real. I mean, earlier this week, I did say that there was one guy in DeMarcus Lawrence of the Cowboys who said, quote, the Cowboys, we are a good team. Close quote.
Come on!
There isn't anything good about having a team in your most glamorous division shield represent the NFC East. Because that division, the most glamorous that it is the division that has the most population, because you have a team that comes from the New York DMA. You have a team that comes from the Philadelphia DMA. You have a team that comes from the Washington, D.C. DMA. And you have a team that comes from the Dallas-Fort Worth DMA. New York is number 1. Philly is number 5. Dallas is number 4. Washington is number 8. There isn't another division in the NFL that boasts such a huge population gathering than the NFC East. So it stands to reason that this might affect NFL ratings too. Why? Less people interested, less viewers.
Come on!
I know I don't like that either, but that's what you risk in having these putrid Eagles, Giants, Washington NFL franchise, and Cowboys representing the NFC East and actually hosting a playoff game, and they're horrible. I mean, they're horrible. They're putrid. They're ridiculous. They're trash. They're garbage. They really stink up the joint. They are the worst thing in 2020 outside of COVID-19. They are the abomination of the NFL. I mean, it's just people thought that the NFC West, when it was circling the drain in the latter part of the 2000 odds, when they had the Seahawks come in, or I should say the 2011, 2010, when they came in with a 7-9 record, and of course that ended up having the Beastquake run when they hosted the Saints, and that 78-yard run by Marshawn Lynch immortalized this guy in all NFL fandom. People were saying and belly aching, why? Wait a minute. Why is this team at 7-9 hosting a team that's 11-5? That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to have more of this because we're going to have more of these teams and more of these divisions that's going to utterly suck. So do you actually want to have divisions that outright suck? Do you want to have divisions that people just write off because, well, you know they're absolutely atrocious? Do you want to have that division be the NFC East? Of course you don't, Shield, because that affects your bottom line. You can't have the 5 teams that are in these markets, because I'll group the Jets along with them because they also are in the number 1 DMA, as being the worst of the worst. I mean, you're going to have to come up with a system where if there are teams like the NBA, for instance, how they do it with a team that actually has a great record but don't win the division, that they could be as high as a number 2 seed. You're going to have to do something like that, to where if there's a team that just is outstanding, and we might actually have that. We might have a team like the Cardinals or the Rams or the Seahawks. One of those teams might end up with 10 or 11 wins, but be like the 1991 San Francisco 49ers, 10 wins and they missed the playoffs, or the 2008 Patriots, 11 wins and missed the playoffs, in lieu of then an 8-8 Colts team, or an 8-8 Chargers team. That's what I'm talking about. You don't want this on your hand shield. You want to have a product where the best of the best advance to the postseason.
Of course.
Now, don't you want to have a happy NFL fan?
Yes!
And aren't you regretting the second weekend in January, this coming playoff round, the wild card round, when you're going to have to see either the Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Washington NFL franchise host either the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chargers, or the Bucks, or even the Saints if they end up being a wild card team?
No!
Because more than likely they're going to host one of those teams. Chiefly, I would say it's either going to be the Saints or the Bucks. It's time for that embarrassment to be over, Shield. Have the 7 best advance to the playoffs, regardless of who wins their divisions. Because we need to have the best teams advance, not necessarily the best team in each division advance. Just saying. Cole Johnson, Cole Sports with the Z.com. Now, if you want this shirt that you see right before your very eyes, the description box below has all the details as to getting it and as to how you can get it. And if you think that the divisions should be not necessarily abolished or abandoned, but if you really believe that it should be the 7 best teams that advance the playoffs regardless, or if you really believe that it should be each division winner should advance, doesn't matter. Let me know, though. Like this video and share this throughout all of social media. Comment below, because your comments are golden to me, VIP. And don't forget, hit the notification bell and subscribe to this channel so you can get any and all content that emanates from here. Well, I hope your Thanksgiving week has been wonderful. Mine has been, and it will continue to be. This weekend is going to be wonderful as well. I hope yours will be too. Join me Monday, because we're going to be talking more NFL action. I'm Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.